Hey everybody, it's Mike Copera with PodcastCondition.com, bringing the 92nd episode of What You Drinking. We got a good-sized crew with us tonight. We've got AJ on hold; he's grabbing his beer. We got Brandon, we got Chris, and we got Dan. And I think Kevin's gonna be joining us later on, but he's flying solo with the kids until they're in bed, so he'll be joining us shortly, I think. But we spun on Barleywines last week. And that kind of keeps it open, you know. You got American versions of that. You got an English style barley wine. I got an English. What do you guys? Did you guys were you able to bring anything that fit the wheel?
Yes, I did.
I did too. I'm drinking a Cuban barley wine. This is a Cuban barley wine called High Life.
There you go.
I have a few barley wines, but none of them that I want to just crack tonight. So I'm the failure. So I will be quiet and listen to you guys.
Go. That's all right. You can drink anything you want on the show, man. Just fun little thing we do here. Man, this is dark as fuck.
Hey, the dog's off the chair. The dog's off the chair. Oh my god.
Must be out of weed.
Nice. Now I will go. There is one barley wine I will go crack, but I did not get it because I figured somebody else was going to be drinking it, so I did not grab it. Who's raise your hand if you're drinking a Lagunitas gnarly wine tonight?
I had one, but I drank it the other night.
Oh, maybe I will go get it then. All right.
It's $5, man. You gotta have them. You gotta have a handful.
You can't find them anymore though. They were gone. They were here and gone so quick.
Wow.
You can't not find them here. They're like
everywhere.
I'll send you some, man. They're everywhere here. It's crazy. Okay. I got a bourbon barrel-aged English style barley wine.
Ooh.
From Against the Grain, which is fucking such a good brewery. And I've never had this beer before, but it's called London Balling. It's got a cool dude with I love their art, man. They always got the same style on most of their labels, but it's 12.5%. Definitely smell the bourbon on this. It's a cool little bottle too.
Nice.
What'd you end up bringing?
I brought a new Bigfoot 2015 from this year. Well, it was packaged last year, but it's released for this year, so go figure. But it's always a solid American-style barley wine, made best for aging, but I do like it fresh. It smells so good.
Brandon's voice sounds like about an octave lower than I remember. Either he's cold or puberty finally fucking finished. I'm guessing that didn't happen. Your voice is like, I'm warming up for a deep chorus tonight of singing Barry White songs.
He was drinking on another hangout earlier before this, so he's probably
got the beer voice going.
The booze has cleared out anything out of his throat.
Yes.
So okay, so that's a 2015, Brandon, you said?
Yes, it is. I have all the way back to 2012 because I was stupid one night and drank the last of my 2011s.
Nice.
Nice. I do too. I for some reason don't have 2014. That year must never have happened. So.
I actually have one in the fridge, so it did.
Dick.
I have two of those.
Brandon, I can send you a 2008 if you'd like. I have seven 2008s left.
We can talk about that in the future.
So, yeah, just let everyone know. 7 2008 Bigfoot available.
Nice.
There we go.
Goddamn Black
I heard that.
I knew you would.
They're losing. They're down 1-0. 3-2 in the first period. Nashville.
Yeah.
First game of the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, what did you have again? Or did you say it?
No, I did not. I got an English style with cherries out of it. It's actually been on the show relatively recently. It's the Cherry Murderous by Pipeworks here in Chicago. And, you know what's that?
That brewery that I don't get.
Yeah, no, it's a good brewery. This one, you know, It's better than most cherry beers that I've had, but the cherry in there is still a little cough syrupy. And that's in the high ABV beers. Maybe it'll set a little bit back because it's not too bad. Maybe it's in my head. I'll have to drink it down a little bit and see if it goes away. But I mean, the barley wine underneath is awesome. But damn it, cherry.
So
Yeah, I've got their barrel aged version of that beer, and I haven't had it yet. It's from last year, so I have to,
Same
pop
with
it
me.
open sometime. But man, I just had a Ninja versus Unicorn yesterday for like the first time in probably a year.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking beer is so goddamn good. I forgot how much I love that beer and how good it is. It's like, it just smells like pineapple and citrus. Like when you just open it, man, it's just so damn good.
Oh yeah, the whole room fills up with that beer smell. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, AJ, what you got open there?
Hey, don't call him AJ. Call him Bo Nose, because isn't that the jersey he's wearing?
Chris Phillips coming through with knowledge. I was going to do a 2014 Bigfoot, but since Brandon flipped the script a little bit, I decided to go with, this is also from, this is from Brooklyn. It's a 2011 Brooklyn Monster Ale.
Nice.
Yeah. It was, when it was brewed, it was a 10.1% ABV. It's an American barley wine, but it's very hinting on English style. It's very biscuity on the nose. For an American barley wine, more biscuity than I remember most American barley wines being. So I think it maybe is trying to do a blend of two different styles, both the American and the English, into one glass. And the glass is a very nice Stein from the Sly Fox Goat Races last year, which happened on May the 4th, which everyone knows is National Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
So it has two goats in stormtrooper masks, if you can't see that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
It has May the 4th be with you on it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. I usually go to the goat races every year. It's coming up in 2 weeks, so I shall be down there again for the goat race. Unfortunately, it will not be Star Wars themed this year. But
Aww.
That's cool that they did that though, because it landed on that date. That's awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah, there's some really cool shirts that I got out of it. This Stein, which was free, like when you for the first X amount of people that walked into the place and ordered one of their buy box, got the free Star Wars Stein. So it's a good time.
Nice.
And 9 out of 10 times, the three-legged goat always wins. Everyone remember that. There's a three-legged goat. Bet on the three-legged goat.
So you said that's from Brooklyn Brewery?
It is from Brooklyn Brewing.
I don't think I've ever seen that one out here before.
Really?
Maybe just an East Coast thing?
Probably.
I would get it in Louisiana when they made the beer. They don't make the beer anymore because Monster the Cat died, and so they just stopped making the beer.
Gotcha. Fucking goddamn Blackhawks, 2-0 then.
No. So
Chris is just going.
there may be a small surprise for you in the box I send you, and it may be a 2011 Monster. Just saying.
There you go.
Sweet.
I like to sweeten my trade boxes, just so you guys know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Couple extras here, a couple extras there.
But have you had any Pipeworks ever when you were in Chicago?
I have, yeah, no, I have. I have at Pipeworks a few. If you try to quiz me on which ones I've had, I can't do it off the top of my head. I think I've had like 2 or 3. What I'm really looking forward to though, and if anybody wants to be on the lookout, Ninja versus Unicorn cans.
Yeah, those mock-ups are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I need those in my life. That's all I'm gonna say.
So let me say, I'm gonna give you a little scenario here. I'm gonna say 2 words. You pick the one. You two, Dan and Mike. You guys are local, so you guys pick it. But if you had a choice, which one? Half Acre, Pipeworks.
Ooh.
Now, if you're talking about a beer to pick up or a place to go to.
No, which is there? If you could rate one number 1, number 2 in those for those 2 breweries, which ones do you think is you have a? Or is it pretty?
See,
Is it right at the line? They're pretty close.
No, it's not, because it's for different reasons. So Half Acre for me would probably win because I lived like a 10 to 15 minute walk away from there. So like I went there almost every Sunday with my wife, sat there and played board games and drank a flight of beer like almost every Sunday. So it's got a good, and their tour is probably one of the best I've ever been on. It's like 2 hours long. And
Really?
you're drinking the whole time. They'll walkie-talkie in, the person in the tap house with to bring in more pitchers as you're going on the tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's really really cool. I love them. They're expanding right now. They've got a new location opening up, probably like a mile or two north from their original location. So they're going to be able to have a restaurant in there, and they're going to have like a big old tap room, kind of similar to what Revolution has. They've got like a separate distribution brewery, but there's like a tap room attached to it, so they're kind of doing the same thing.
The walls there are wacky too. The wood.
Yeah, it's made out of it's from an old grain barn in Wisconsin or something like that.
But it's like we sat there and stared at it for like a good 20 minutes, like trying to figure out how the hell they made the damn thing, because it's all fucked up and shit, but it looks cool as hell. Anyways,
but if you want to go, how cool Pipeworks is because they're different than anyone else. They're unique in the way that they started, as probably one of the first, if not the first, Kickstarter breweries ever. And
didn't know that.
And the guys that started it, they worked at probably one of the best liquor stores in Chicago, West Lakeview Liquors. I remember them from like going shopping at that store. So like, I don't know. I have to go Half Acre on that, but I mean, Pipeworks is no drop. It's not that far away if you want to put it
Dan,
down.
weigh in.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna stop talking and let Dan say his piece.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, you have to start off with, if you're going with tap rooms, you can only go with Half Acre at the moment. Pipeworks doesn't have one yet. So as far as destination breweries go, Half Acre's got it one hands down. If you're talking about a brewery, a single brewery that's had the biggest impact on probably not only Chicago beer but Illinois beer in the last 5 years, I would have to say Pipeworks.
Yeah,
Pipeworks has totally changed the game. Half Acre really kind of got things going, but when Pipeworks came along, they took it to a new level. And that's not saying anything bad or downgrading Half Acre's beers at all, because I wouldn't say that Half Acre doesn't beers that are any worse. They're just the way that like 18th Street only happens because Pipeworks is here. The guys at Spiteful are part of that same kind of clique that kind of came together at the same time and did a brain share about what Chicago beer could be. So I'm going to go Pipeworks, I guess.
Okay.
Just from a pure outsider that's had a handful of beers from both breweries, I'm not going to choose because I think they're both equal.
Ooh.
I think if you judge them from a pure quality of beer standpoint and what they're producing, I don't know if I can pick one over the other. Now, granted, like I said, I've only had maybe like 3 beers from Pipeworks, 3 beers from Half Acre, but from those 3 beers that I've had from each, I would put them on the same level.
No, I would agree. No, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
But they both have. First of all, Skylar, how you doing, man? Just want to say hi. I saw you pop in. I don't know if you can hear me. He looks frozen. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yes.
There he is.
But anyways, both have had their bit of influence, because Half Acre, they were the first brewery in Chicago to kind of have as unique of a license as they have. There were no other breweries that were doing what they were doing until they did it first. So at least that. So also, if you want to know a really good way to find out the story about Pipeworks, there's a 3-part YouTube series on. There's a store here in Chicago called the Craft Beer Temple, another one of the best liquor stores or beer shops in Chicago. So if you're ever in town, any of you guys that are not from Chicago, go to the Craft Beer Temple. The guy that owns it is a certified Cicerone. He he specializes in keeping the most fresh beers. He usually gets Pipeworks beer after it's been bottled, like the same day, if not the next day. And he usually opens like big ass whales that nobody can get their hands on, and then just pop it open and share it, for anyone to come in. So it's kind of a nice way to promote people coming into his store by sharing this beer that nobody can get their hands on. But he had the Pipeworks guy come in. He sold tickets and had people come in and sit around and drink beers and listen to. The one guy's name is BJ Olson, and I forget the other guy's name, but they told the whole story, and they split it up into 3 videos. So the Craft Beer Temple has their own YouTube channel, and if you want to know what the story is behind Pipeworks, that's the best way I can tell you to find out. So, Skylar, I don't know if you can hear us now. Thanks for joining, man. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent. We're all drinking beers. We got Barleywines here. What do you got there?
I too have a barley wine. This is one I've been holding on to for a little bit. What's so damn funny, Chris?
I'm pissed because I'm the only one. I didn't want to crack. I've got like 6 different barley wines, and all of them I want to sit on for at least another year or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm just drinking what I'm drinking. And so I'm drinking I called it the Cuban barley wine, High Life.
That's no flash in the pan, though. That's a fucking good beer, so don't even feel bad.
Almost pulled a Chris, because I too was like, man, I really want to hold on to these a little bit longer, but this one I've really been itching to get into. This is the class of '88 barley wine.
I got that. It's one of the ones I didn't want to crack.
Well, now
Don't you feel like a dick?
This is a collaboration between Rogue, North Coast Brewing, and Deschutes. Now for a barley wine, look at that color. It's a lighter color barley wine.
It's like a wheat wine.
It's very similar to the Brooklyn Monster that I'm drinking right now.
And the Bigfoot I'm having right now.
And the Bigfoot.
Yeah, this one comes out to 10% alcohol, 75 IBUs of bitterness, and 7.5 SRM. That's the color there. Tastes really good. I think it's.
Hey, can I make a breaking internet announcement?
Sure.
The fucking Blackhawks are down 3-0. Is that what you're gonna say?
Fuck.
No, but yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
What's up?
I'm not going to go into any stories on air, but I am no longer a part of Swill Mill Brewing Company, which I'm a free agent. So if anybody wants to contract me out for recipes, I'm available.
You heard it here first,
right.
people.
Texas now.
There you
I
go.
think Skylar just found a partner up there.
Did Megan just say move to Texas? I
think you did hear that.
Yeah. How's the brewery going, Skylar?
Bedroom house. Just kidding.
How's the brewery
That
going?
sounds like it depends on who you ask, because I'm seeing Skylar laugh, and I'm hearing the voice from off camera.
So how's work at the brewery?
Oh, for me?
That's you, buddy. You're the only brewery person in this hangout now.
It's busy. Extremely busy. So busy, in fact, that I just I'm trying to stretch myself between everything, working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, just trying to do stuff. We're bringing in a marketing consultant guy sometime later next week, and see what we can do to kind of up distribution, because we got a lot of beer, and we got a lot of bars that are actually asking for it now, which is really cool. We've been doing events lately. We did our first event. I did a crawfish boil in a golf tournament, and it's a great turnout.
Nice.
So yeah, we've got almost like 1,000 likes on our Facebook page, which is
Wait,
cool.
time out. Why are you doing a crawfish broil in Texas? I could see Brandon doing that shit in just fucking his backyard, like in 5 minutes.
You've apparently never been to Texas, my friend.
I have been to
Exactly.
Texas, but I've never seen crawfish.
Bigger than it is in Louisiana.
Yeah, crawfish here is just as
Even though we
big.
get it from there.
as it is in Louisiana. It's freaking huge.
Everything's bigger in Texas, right? So the crawfish are actually lobsters, right?
That's about right. If you see
We're
some
right there by the bay, right?
yeah, it really depends on the weather. This season was a lot better than last season.
All right.
So are you guys? You're still all draft though, right? You haven't done bottles.
Yeah, we're still just nothing but kegs, and I'm looking into getting a canning line. So that's something that we hope to get started within a year or two.
What about like one of those mobile canning things? I know there's a lot of breweries here in Michigan that are doing that now.
That's something we've really been looking into, and it's really cool. And it's something we'll probably end up doing if we can't find a way to have our own machine. The only problem with that is you're kind of at the mercy of their schedule.
Right.
You can't just can beer whenever you'd like to. But yeah, it's actually pretty financially reasonable versus buying a canning line for $300,000 plus, however much they cost.
So this is a brewery here in Michigan that I think did this just to get more of exposure to their little brewery that some people over on the west side of the state don't know about. But I know Dan and Mike know about these guys.
Oh, the cannon now, huh?
Yeah.
I think they just did a contract. I love the can though. It's called a Reactor. It's so
That's
friendly.
awesome.
That is a cool ass can.
That is wicked cool.
I
Chris
like
Phillips,
that one.
I
That was pretty
need some
cool.
of that in my life. Thank you.
This is but you could tell it's. I
It's a
know
wrap.
Brewery of Avon has done this too, where they've got the clear label and the can's just a straight up aluminum, and they slapped however they get the. I don't know if they put it on there and heat it up and it just shrinks
Yeah.
down.
No, that's a heat shrink.
We have a company down here that does that, but damn, that's a lot more expensive.
Is it? Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking it wouldn't be as bad. I thought it was going to be like a cheaper option because you won't have to print the can. It's just like normal cans, and then they like you said, shrink wrap that label around.
Well, another thing you might be able to do too. I don't know how the laws are in Texas. I think Brewery of Vermont, the first time they did that on a limited release, they actually bought a front. They made stickers front and back, and they just slapped them on the front and back of the can. And so they were just like regular stickers you could throw on your wall or whatever, just regular adhesive stickers.
That's very similar to what the Alchemist is doing with their non-heady beer, like Focal Banger, and there's one more that they're canning. It's a new beer, but they have been using stickers up until, as far as I know, they're still using stickers. I don't know if they've actually done can printing for their two other non-heady beers, but yeah, I mean, stickers, on a plain aluminum can. As long as you have the clout, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that style of cans.
Right.
I was going to ask Skylar. I don't know. You could say you don't want to talk about it if you can't. But what is the marketing strategy for the brewery? Are you guys looking to kind of stick to Texas and kind of blow it up there, or do you have any desire to go out yet? Because I know it's really early, but is the local market usually what your initial plan is?
Texas is a very different market in terms of beer than a lot of other states are. I know a lot of the northern states, it is like by state, but here in Texas it's so large, and we have a lot of distribution challenges in our legislation that make it a little bit difficult, although it is getting better. So the way you have to think about it in Texas is I'm near Galveston, and we're kind of taking care of the Galveston area, which is southeast off the coast or Gulf of Mexico, and eventually getting into Houston, which is a huge market, although not quite as large as Dallas-Fort Worth and Austin. So really, you've got three miniature states within the state of Texas. You've got the Austin, the Houston, and the Dallas-Fort Worth. So the plan is just to hang around, maybe not even get outside of Houston until we've, actually had an expansion if we call for it. I guess the marketing plan is just stay local, stay to the community, and never sacrifice quality for distribution. There's a certain point at which a brewer has to make sacrifices to get a beer out for however far. We don't want to make that sacrifice. We're fine. If we just stay in the Galveston area, that's cool. If people want us in Houston, awesome. After Houston, if it's wanted even more, we'll expand, and then we'll go into Austin and Dallas. But who knows how long that's going to be?
What do you call What do you call the Panhandle area?
Middle of nowhere.
I was looking for something more.
No one really
Oh,
moves
the
that
red
way.
light district.
Well,
I believe the British would call it fuck all. But.
Gas your power, because there's no real life out there.
Because honestly, that's a good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that strategy of sticking to your home state. Because if you've got a solid local market, there's here in the Midwest, there's tons of breweries that have just excelled at that. You've got New Glarus, which you can't. I mean, it's on every label of their beer is the thumbprint of Wisconsin. You can't think of New Glarus without thinking Wisconsin. And same goes with Shorts in Michigan. They're not gonna. They promote now. Their thing is like it's a stamp on all their shit is like Michigan only, Michigan forever, and they don't plan on stepping out of that state at all.
The thing I don't like about that is that I don't think they get enough national recognition. They get totally overlooked because you can't get them unless you come here.
But they don't need it. Honestly, I've never even heard of Bel Air, Michigan. But why did I figure it out? Because I've heard of Shorts. They came to Chicago and leaked a little bit of beer into our market.
And in fairness, that's kind of what we're talking about.
I understand that, but I also didn't have my finger on the pulse as much as I do now when it comes to beer. I listen to podcasts that are local to all sides of the country now, and I know shit that I never would have known, back then. But at the same time, Bel Air, Michigan's my favorite place in the entire world right now, and that's only because of that brewery. And I think they're going to be fine just sticking to that. They don't need the national recognition. I don't think.
But we like to see them in a list once in a while to top.
I fucking hate those lists. They're stupid.
No,
they are stupid.
I totally agree with
and I'm sorry because Chris, look what you did to that list. You fucking shat all over that thing by pumping Pipeworks to fuck bells.
I know.
That means anybody could be doing that to those lists, and they're invalid and so pointless, and they're just fluff for people to write about, basically.
Well, do you see who won that in the end?
No, I didn't pay attention to shit. I hate the fucking list.
I only had to because I like car wrecks now and again. And it was it got to the end, it was what was it? It was Four Peaks. I don't know who the hell Four Peaks are.
Who they beat that in the final?
Founders. I think they beat Founders in the end.
Yeah.
It's sort of that's a rational universe right there.
It all started off with let's beat down Larry and his bitches.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's funny. It's funny, but at the same time, it makes any of those lists totally invalid in my mind. So I don't. But
let's think about it. Let's think about it from a different context.
Well, first off, let me just say, Mike, I totally see your point, and I totally agree with you, even though I'm the one that brought it up. I totally agree with you.
I'm just teasing with you too about that, but at the same time,
it makes sense.
Shorts? Does Shorts really care about national recognition?
Fuck no.
Maybe.
No, they don't.
Come to Michigan, but otherwise they don't care about being on those lists. I really don't.
If they didn't care about a national presence, they wouldn't go to GABF.
Right, that's true. I mean,
and they do every year.
You know what?
But,
that's just stroking your own ego. That's seeing how, from your own perspective, how your beers stack up versus every other beer in the country.
There you go.
But it's also another way if you want to stick to the local market.
It doesn't mean you want a national presence. It's just how does my shit stack up against my competitors?
Not really. It also can be. I could put a nice little medal on my bottle and on my can now, or you're just on the list of the actual winners of that
Miller Lite has metal.
But,
So
you were just saying they didn't need that, and I think you're
Well-
right. They don't need that to be a success in Michigan.
Well,
so
it depends. I think what
you know.
No, I think what all three of you are saying is that it depends on what your desire of a brewery is to go there. What is your goal to go there? You go there to just stack up and see how you compare? Do you go there because you just want to throw some poster on the wall that says, "Yeah, I'm the 2005 winner of best Pilsner," and it's Budweiser or whatever.
Hop brew.
You know,
Yeah.
But it might sell more beer. I mean, whether they want to expand outside of Michigan or not, but it might sell more beer within Michigan if they have something on their, on their labels that said that they were, in the GABF winning.
I don't think they care, to be honest with you. Like,
You might
I
be
don't
right.
think Shorts cares if they win a medal or not. Because Shorts is still going to do their crazy ass stuff, and they're still going to hang out with Ween, and they're still going to do their shit.
All right, Chris.
So, I mean,
Arcadia or Shorts? I'm gonna pose the same kind of question you sent to me.
What was the first brewery?
Arcadia.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Shorts. I'm not even gonna think about it.
I would say. Well, what about Greenbush or Shorts? I
was
love
gonna say dark horse.
See, the only problem I have with, and this is a Michigan thing, and this is nothing against Dan or Mike, but Greenbush to me is an infringement extension, if you will, of Chicago. I mean, because those guys are Chicago guys. If the guy that started that, am I right? I believe.
I believe.
I didn't know that, but that might be true.
It's fucking legit, bro.
Well, I'm not. I'm not going to cut on the brewery at all. The brewery's great and everything, but they are literally 10 minutes away from Tapestry. The beers are a little bit different. Greenbush has got the edge, but if you go there on any given day, I don't think it's like shit eating. Like, I'm dropping a load on some of the stuff, some of the beers they would have in the middle of summer, and the type of crowd they've got, because it's all people over from the Illinois and maybe even Wisconsin that are coming over for vacation. I mean, it's all the people that own the houses.
Why are you hating on us, man?
I don't hate Chicago people. It's just.
He's calling us fibs, man. He's calling us fibs.
Fibs or fips, yeah. No, but and it's not all Chicago people. There's a certain type of people. One of probably my best friend here in town that I've met since I've moved to Battle Creek back in '03 is a Chicago guy. Grew up in the Rich area, in fact, up near Northwestern. So.
Are you talking about Brian?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
I didn't know he was from Chicago.
Oh yeah, he's Chicago all the way, dude.
Was he North Shore, like Winnetka or Glencoe or something like that? Because that's kind of where I grew up.
Well, he said Northwestern, so that's Evanston, right?
Evanston, yep. That's where he grew up in Evanston, yep.
Okay, yeah, my dad was a Northwestern professor. That's why he lived there. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
he's an ETHS guy. All right.
He used to actually work the parking lot at Northwestern, and
nice.
He's got some great stories, and this is like my dad. My dad is from Chicago. He's from Cicero, so fuck. I'm on both ends there. I got a friend north side. My dad's from the south side originally, but he only lived there for a few years. But what's that?
I said South Side.
Yeah, that's like
it's
hardcore.
Grew up in the South like burbs.
But anyways, Arcadia's they brew with that. They have that. I forget what I used to know what it was called. They've got a specific brewing system and a specific strain of yeast they use in all their beers. And I thought it's hurt them for a while, but I've learned that I don't think that's as much as it is. I think they've just had a shit run of brewers that have stayed there. They, after Brian Wiggs left and went to Dark Horse, they've had one other guy that's kind of stayed there that was under Brian when he was there. After that,
I didn't know Wiggs was even from Arcadia. That's cool.
He's the one that I believe he made Hop Rocket, Shipwreck Porter. He's made a bunch of the old school recipes. But he had a guy underneath him that took over, and then he brewed a couple more beers, and then they haven't really had much after that, and it's just.
Talking about Hebrews.
What's that? What?
I said Hebrews. What are you talking about Hebrews for?
Hebrews. Shut up. Hebrews. Anyways, so I think they're good, but. And their distribution obviously is outside the state, and I know they're over in Pennsylvania, at least Pittsburgh area, at least as far that far east. But Shorts to me has always been like eclectic. They are. I used to call them the Dogfish Head of Michigan because they used to brew some.
They totally are.
Shit. Now,
totally,
recently they haven't been doing that as much, and I don't know why. They've been stuck on this hop binge of American pale ales.
Now.
Are they doing sours now?
Fuck yeah! They just released one, and there's another one coming out this next weekend during their 11th anniversary.
Oh my god!
You
Speaking
gotta
of
start
which,
listening to their podcast, man.
I know I need to. Speaking of which, I'm drinking Superfluid by them. One of the first beers I bought from them in a while, and this is a phenomenal beer. It's the first beer I've liked by them in a while. So,
Chris,
Now, I know you said that they are all kind of blending together all their IPAs, but I'll bet you if you put those side by side that you'll see a lot of difference.
probably yeah.
Because I mean, Joe Short has said himself that IPA is his favorite style, so obviously they're going to have a lot of hop beers and a lot of IPAs. But
Right.
I'll bet you anything that they're all quite different.
When Freedom of '78 first came out, which is the Half Acre collab, I thought that was liquid marijuana. It was so freaking dank. It's so good. Second time I had it, yeah, with the guava inside. Yeah, the second year they had it, I don't think it was still considered a collaboration, but I don't think Half Acre did anything.
Half Acre has not had anything to do with it since 2010.
Yeah, so now I haven't had this year's, but last year's wasn't all that great. It was meh.
I beg to differ, but that's all right.
No, that's okay.
I don't have it, within reach as much as you do. So.
This was actually the Superfluid, which is the weirdest style I've ever seen. It says right on the bottle, Double American India Pale Ale. Is that
what's Chris? What was Hopstash?
What's that?
What was Hopstash? Because I think Hopstash was like a similar weird style.
Hopstash.
I had Hopstash, but I can't remember what it was. But I've had the Double Stash before.
I have not had Double Stash. I just had regular Hopstash. Kevin.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Kevin.
Hi,
Wearing the IU shirt. Nice.
It's only down by 2 now. That's good.
It's not as bad.
Delay. I guess I'll figure that out.
How you doing, man?
Not bad. How about you?
Good. We got some beers here. What are you drinking there?
Yeah, I made it. I've got. Oh, I thought I brought my bottle over. Oh well. It's the Lakefront Brewery Beer Line Barleywine.
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, you know what?
I have not had anything from Lakefront, so
No.
explain.
It was funny. I thought I had a 4-pack that I hadn't had any, and I went down and I put this in the fridge a few hours ago, and it was only 3. So apparently I've tried this before.
I don't think I've ever had that one.
Oh, it's tasty. It's good. This oh wow, very malty. Obviously, high alcohol. It's like 12.9 or something.
Yeah.
And it tastes it, in a good way. There's a lot of flavor there. It's this one was I couldn't read the date on the bottle, but it was something 2014, and it was something with it was before October 1st because I saw the 0 something 14. So it's give or take. It was sitting there for probably 6 months.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That is.
I do not think I've ever had or seen that one. Unless I just don't remember the.
No, I only saw it the, it's a few months window. I think it was in the fall or winter this year, and this is the only year I've seen that, which is why I picked it up.
Skylar, I saw the article that you just. Can you give a synopsis of what that's about? Because I have my opinions. I was just listening to something about people who are refusing about Goose Island lately because of the correlation. But I'm interested to hear what this is about. So I'm not reading while we're talking here.
Yeah. Forgive the switch in what we're talking about here, but it was something that was posted recently, something that's being talked about here in Houston a whole lot, and I know you guys in Chicago, it kind of affects you as well because I would imagine you'd have some loyalty to Goose Island, which is a great brewery that unfortunately got bought. Of course, I've always been one of those crazy people who refused to buy Goose Island because of the acquisition. And, there are
Blasphemy!
people...
It's fucking
like-
blasphemy!
I understand that it's still being brewed, and it's still really good. They haven't changed the recipe or anything.
Well,
It's just the fact that...
depends on which beer you're talking about, because their base beers are all brewed by AB InBev now. They're
Right, and
311. I think 311 is actually getting better. 312 or whatever the fuck it is. It's actually getting better.
It's an area code. It's 312.
the
I thought it was the group. Sorry.
It's not the horrible music group.
explains it fairly well.
Bring it new, man. Come on.
Oh man, 311's good.
Skylar.
The synopsis here is that one of the best craft bars in Houston is now selling off their stock for the same reason that I feel like I shouldn't buy Goose Island, because the money that you're giving them, although you're receiving great beer for it, it's funding the destruction of other craft breweries, which is very unfortunate. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. The link I posted is just a really interesting explanation that I thought mirrored my own feelings on the matter.
Now hold
No,
on a
I mean-
second, because if you're buying like you said, you're buying a good beer, right? And
Mhm.
I think we all kind of agree that the quality of the beer is not, at least if you're choosing to buy it, you're choosing to buy it. If you're
Right.
choosing to buy the beer, the good beer, then you are funding the production
Or of that
sale
beer.
of good beer. You're not. It doesn't work where just because more people are buying good Goose Island beer, all of a sudden AB InBev now is more successful for brewing bad beer. You're actually rewarding good behavior if you're buying good beer.
Well,
Because
no,
you're
it's
saying,
it's
"Hey, I'm
not.
buying-
It depends. It depends on what corporate behavior you're.
That was the case.
Kevin, yeah, it depends on what corporate behavior you're encouraging.
Right.
I mean, are you encouraging their brewing? Or are you encouraging their advertising strategy? Are you encouraging their philosophy as a business?
In this case, if you read the post,
That's simplistic.
Of what is really going on is that that money is given to the company that owns that brewery. That then, during the Super Bowl, we had the attack ad on craft beer, and some of that money funded that, and that just sucks. And it's going
it's actually though. It's the other way. If you're buying,
Can I just stop everybody for a second? Yeah. Raise your hand if you buy Bourbon County Stout. Put your hand up if you buy it. Okay,
If I buy it or if
so 11 months out of the year, you're totally against AB InBev, but for 1 month, your money, is it a separate account? I don't know. If you know what you're doing.
I'll weigh in on that because I did buy it last year, but next year I'm not gonna.
Why?
And it was because of that ad. Because that was sort of, I gave AB InBev and the Goose Island, model the benefit of the doubt for a long time. But at that point, I felt like a philosophical line in the sand was drawn. And it was very clear. I mean, if you want to deny it, you can. But, for a lot of people, and I'm hardly alone in this, there was a distinct shift in strategic thinking that was demonstrable, and might I add, very, bought at great expense by AB InBev.
Marketing is just one aspect of it. As a brewer, I kind of see where else AB InBev has money being pumped into, and a lot of that is through their lobbying tactics, which against legislation for
Florida.
In Texas, that really hurts. So I think that's why this bar that's very popular here in Houston. That was one of the reasons. The Super Bowl ad is just an example, and it's a very low level example. When you look at what they really spend money on, it's obvious that it's against craft brewers. So if you have the money and you want to destroy a thing, wouldn't it be very easy to buy the very thing you don't like and then let the supporters of the thing you don't like fund your destruction of that very thing? That could be completely wrong, but that's just how.
I have a debate question for you. because I think this is a good topic, and I think this will spawn a great conversation.
And Bo knows.
And Bo knows. My debate topic is, what is your thoughts on Oscar Blues now acquiring small craft breweries?
Like Perrin.
Yes.
Like Perrin.
This
Or
is a good
what do you
question.
guys? So I understand what you guys are saying. I mean, the ad was shitty. It doesn't.
They shit on the company that they bought.
I know, I get it, but it also okay. So they're horrible because they're what, gigantic, a conglomerate company. But like, at a certain point, breweries like Lagunitas are gonna get huge to that point, and that's weird when people start hating you when you've become too big. Like you're good when you're like underground, or like if you're a band that just started out and you're like you're the ones that discovered them and everything, and then when they become huge, that's when most of their fans will turn against them. It's kind of similar to that in a way if you think about it.
It very much is.
I don't want to get off in the weeds with Lagunitas or any of the other. I know they're not other, but the Colorado breweries that have expanded east. But somebody brought up, I was in a beer discussion the other day, and they brought up a good point. Those breweries are expanding east because the water is better. That's what I was told.
That's true. That's very, very true.
And there's water, period. In
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
it is not a question mark at all.
Just saying, like Stone, Lagunitas, New Belgium, etc. But anyways, go on.
Here's my deal about Goose Island.
On your intention.
I was sad. I have been drinking Goose Island before they were even available in Pennsylvania. I drank them for a good 4 or 5 years before they were available in Pennsylvania. I've had Bourbon County Stout back to 2007. Bourbon County Stout is... What's that?
I said that's just a good one right there. 2007.
Right. Bourbon County Stout is, like, hands down probably my favorite stout of all time. Once AB InBev acquired them, I said I will stop drinking Goose Island once they fuck up Bourbon County Stout. And they haven't done it yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. They're not gonna. I don't think.
No.
And listen. I mean, I've had, since AB InBev acquired them, I've had all the sister series after they acquired them. Now I know people are gonna be like, well, AB InBev isn't brewing them? They're still brewed in Chicago. Exactly.
Well, here's the thing. Okay,
in Chicago.
keep this in mind with that comment, AJ. What's one good compliment you can give AB InBev? They can brew beer at a big volumes at a consistently at a great quality. They give them a recipe. Granted, it's probably complex, but they can probably continue making it exactly like it's meant. Now, if they fuck it up, shame on them. I'm not even giving them a second try, and they're done.
What
but
I actually like about AB InBev is when they acquired Goose Island, they said, let us take all your base beers, because those are pretty straightforward. Those are pretty much, we can put those on a computerized system on a grand scale, and we can brew them consistently day in and day out, and they're all going to taste the same all the time. And I'll take Goose Island IPA as an example of one that's brewed by AB InBev that is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an underrated IPA. I think the hop profile on it is complex. The aroma on it is great. Consistently, the flavor is on point, and it's a decent ABV, so you can drink a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's brewed by AB InBev in like New Jersey somewhere, and it's still really good. But what I respect about AB InBev is they said, all right, listen, you do all this crazy shit that we can't computerize. So you continue to do that, and we're going to give you money. Go and expand your barrel room, buy a bunch of barrels, do all your shit that you want to do, and just keep brewing it where you're brewing it.
Barrel room, my ass. Barrel warehouse. I've been there. It's
yeah. I mean, it's pretty huge now. So, it's, for me, am I against BMC? Absolutely. But when they do something like that, I can't fault them.
Well, and here's the bigger issue. No, I mean, because the quality is definitely, I mean, the paramount issue to it in a lot of people's minds. But I think what's becoming more and more clear, and Chris actually just posted an article that kind of spoke to this today, and that was, the 50, the 50
Top
best,
50 breweries,
top
brewers.
50, according to the to the Brewers Association, and it's this distinction between craft brewing and big brewing, and this is a distinction that is going to progressively get more and more frazzled and torn apart and untenable, frankly, as time goes on. I mean, ultimately, it just comes down to brewing. There are breweries, and some of them are really, really big, and some of them are really, really tiny. And then you get these middle ground brewers like Founders. Founders qualified as a top brewer in 2014, suddenly doesn't in 2015 because of an arbitrary decision by the Brewers Association that if you own more than 25% of your brewery is owned by an outside source, like in this case it's a Spanish brewing or liquor concern, suddenly you're not a craft brewer anymore, simply because of the ownership structure.
Mhm.
That has absolutely no freaking impact on the beer that comes out of a fermenter. It all has to be about numbers being pushed around on a page.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you've got all these people freaking out about it. So,
But does Founders give a shit whether they're considered craft?
well, no, I mean, Anheuser-Busch, InBev, Goose Island doesn't give a shit, and I mean, but here's the thing, and this is where Skylar comes in, and sort of that tier of breweries where you're talking about the smaller ones, the coming up and comers, or even the people who have been established that have a certain distribution footprint, and that is there are competition issues, and they're harsh. And so how do you make it a business situation where small competitors can compete, with larger competitors? Personally, I think that smaller competitors compete by doing it on smaller terms in their area. They don't try to get big because someone's already there, and they do it better, and they always will.
I think it's more of it's more of a point of educating the drinker in your local market. If you're people that you're trying to market your beer to don't understand the difference between different styles, if they're used to one plain ass beer, you can really open their eyes by just pushing education in your local area where you're trying to market your beers, and that makes much more of a difference. Because honestly, of course, that commercial during the Super Bowl was shitty, and it was an obvious spit in the face. But like, is it going to make anybody? Does that really make anyone switch from craft beer to drinking their swill? No, but it just, I don't know. I think that was a waste of money.
Wiser or more.
No, because it got them attention. It got them on the radar.
Who's giving them attention?
The way any of you have said that, I thought it was a clever ad to start with. It wasn't directed at me. It wasn't directed at any of you guys, and it wasn't so much an insult to somebody who's drinking good beer. It was more of a play to say, hey, if you don't like good beer, and there are plenty of people that don't. There's actually probably more that don't. They're trying to say it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's still cool. Drink. The swill that we're selling. We're trying to. It's not trying to convert anybody. It's trying to keep people. And I thought it was clever.
Which you're right, because they're losing market. So you're right.
Kevin is 1,000% correct. It was validation for the people that don't drink craft beer.
Right. But I think that where it comes down to a sort of an obvious slap in the face to the craft beer end of things is when they say we brew beer the hard way. I look at Skylar and I listen to that sentiment and I think you guys are either on crack or obviously out to prove a point that is absolute crap.
Let's think about this. I guarantee you that AB InBev's marketing people have no idea what it takes to brew a beer.
I disagree. I think there are a lot of intelligent people that go into the AB InBev brewing side of things. A lot of them probably come out of Davis's.
He said marketing, not
He's
brewing.
talking about marketing.
Oh, marketing?
He's talking about marketing. It's a
Talking about
different
marketing.
story.
Okay, yeah.
I have my own gripes about AB InBev's marketing, but that's a different story.
Okay. No, go ahead then. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the marketing side of it, and you know, ABM went to their marketing camp group and said, "Hey, we need a Super Bowl ad, and we need to keep our core drinking brand before they branch out to craft brew. Make us an ad." And their marketing people said, "Okay." And they have no idea what it actually takes to brew craft beer or do what all of us do on a regular basis, or drink the shit that people bleed, sweat, and cry over on a daily basis. They have no idea what it takes to do that.
But that's the shit that we've seen since like the 90s when we started drinking craft beer.
Absolutely. They're
not trying to convert people back to their beers. They're buying these companies that people are already buying from. They know they're all going to craft beers. Eventually,
They're not all going to craft beer. There's a good portion of people like you and me that are going to craft beers, and there's a giant portion of people that aren't going to craft beers. And there's nothing wrong with catering to both. And there's nothing wrong with catering to one while still trying to grow the other. You know, that's a good.
But that's the way they're growing money. They're building their money is by joining on and buying up. You know, the craft breweries that are making money right now.
You know, I used to think that, but if you look at the actual raw data as far as sales go, I mean, there's still a decline on beer, generally speaking. And the drinkers aren't going back to beer. They're not. I mean, what beer drinkers are leaving that are continuing to drink beer are going back to craft. But there are a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, who are just going away from beer altogether, and they're hitting wine, or a lot of them are actually hitting spirits. I think some of the
cider,
some of the biggest growth is in like cider. I mean, that's what's saving Boston beer right now.
I agree that those are definitely they're growing, but I don't think they're leaving craft beer and going to spirits. I think.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're leaving mega brews and going to those things. They're not leaving craft beer and doing that. No, that's not what I said at all.
Okay, I misheard you then.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that if you look at the beers and industry, you have to look at it at the macro level. That's declining, and it's been a steady state decline for actually years now, and it's not upticking. Even with ads that have been put on the Super Bowl recently. And what you're getting is this sort of diaspora of drinkers who are going on to other things. And the things that they're going on to are craft beer, which is why it's growing, and cider, which is why it's growing, and things like the spirits end of things, where you're getting a lot of the craft spirits movement going now, too, the whiskeys and the gins, and basically the local distilleries going in all over the place. There's one here actually in the Libertyville area. So I think that, I mean, I agree with the idea that the age of the light lager may well be on the way out, and it's probably a good thing, because frankly, it is this artificial bubble that was created by Prohibition that was bound to finally get a poke in the side once you got the legislation allowing other competition to come in, which is what makes for a good marketplace, competition.
Well, then I also want to point this out, too. When you talk about the light lager, you talk about the big breweries and stuff like that. Well, I mean, when you talk about the American-style lager, there was not one catch-all recipe for that sort of thing. I mean, for example, Schlitz does not taste like Pabst Blue Ribbon. Dixie does not taste like Budweiser. Schaefer does not taste like Miller High Life. Stroh's tastes different. Old Style tastes different. But you talk about Budweiser, Buzz has a distinctive taste. A lot of people like it. A lot of people don't. And that's just one example. Bud Light, you don't really even advertise that beer. It sells itself for what it is. So with Miller Lite and Coors Light and some of the other beers. But that's just the way it is. And of course, for a while they also had seasonal beers. For example, Coors used to have their Bach beer, for example. That was years ago. I don't really know where a lot of that stuff went. I guess with a lot of consolidation, they just stopped marketing a lot of their Bock beers and seasonal beers. Where sometimes Coors would release a special. Well, they didn't make as much money.
Right.
That's true.
It didn't make them enough money that they wanted, so they got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is another example we talk about with another brand that ABM owns, which is a beer I'm drinking right now, is Bass Pale Ale, which is really one of the iconic brands in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, okay, they said, okay, we're going to start doing a push for Bass now, because the push worked for Stella. It worked really well. But apparently the push has not worked very well for Bass, unfortunately, because I said, okay, well, they didn't know how to market this beer. And it's also unfortunate that English-style beers are just not as popular in America. That's one. Two, they brew it in the American breweries and charge import prices for the beer.
Yeah.
They brew the 4.4% beer in England and sell it in that market instead of brewing the 5.1% beer for all markets and charging just this. Okay, you're brewing it in that country, charge what you would charge for a Budweiser, except if you brew it in the U.S. If you're brewing it in the U.K., you would charge for a Fuller's in that country. It's a no-brainer.
Now here's one thing to support your argument there, Brandon, is Guinness is not brewed in the United States at all.
It is not.
It is not brewed in the United States at all. And
Is it brewed in North America, though?
It is brewed in Canada, yes.
There you go.
It is also brewed in Jamaica.
I was about to say it's also brewed in Jamaica.
Yes.
Don't know why.
Well, because
it's
Red
hot,
Stripe sucks.
it's a hot out here, man. Give me another Guinness.
One, because it's cheap, and two, because it's easier to distribute from Jamaica than it is from England.
And Red Stripe sucks.
That's the reason.
And Red Stripe.
Distributed from Canada, then, not from Jamaica. Jesus. Bowels of hell. I want to point out, too, I don't know if you guys have all seen it, Miller, or Miller Lite, maybe more specifically, I've seen this air once or twice, and it caught my eye once. I cannot for the life of me find it on the internet at all, but I saw somebody on Beer Advocate talk about it. There's a Miller Lite commercial where they've got this close-up of beer like swishing through their glass, and they've got a couple of them. One of them's called the Storm, and it's supposed to look like this tidal wave of like beer or whatever it's called, the Storm. But one of the beer commercials they talk about our beer doesn't mask any of the impurities that a craft beer has. And you're like, yeah. And it's like, okay, I can see where you're coming from this, but you know what? If this fucking beer is so imperfect and it tastes this fucking good, I'll keep drinking the imperfect shit. That's what I thought.
That's right.
And I've been
Leave me
trying for the
unfiltered,
life of me
baby.
to find this goddamn commercial because I just saw it like a week or two ago, and I cannot find it on the web at all. I've been digging all over for it, and I can't find it. But
They probably pulled it already.
they might have. Some guy on Beer Advocate was actually ripping on it, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I wasn't smoking crack. I saw this.
Yay!
I was like walking through the living room, and I heard our beer doesn't mask the impurities with other flavors. And I'm gonna try to do a rant this weekend. I got a little bit of a long weekend, and it's supposed to be a nice weekend, so I'm hoping to get liquored up and just do this fucked up rant about. There's a couple news articles. I think they've both been posted on Google Plus. Both of them are wacky writers talking about how craft beer is dead, how it needs to die. The other one's talking about how beers are way overly hopped and stuff like that. And I mean, the one person is talking about, hey, they need to. People don't sterilize their equipment well enough when they brew, and I'm like, people don't sterilize. They don't autoclave their goddamn beer equipment. They may sanitize it, but
I didn't autoclave it, but I was big on
sanitization is one thing. Sterilization is totally different.
Oh yeah, it is.
Sterilization is I'm gonna cut open your fucking abdomen and take out your intestines.
Right.
Sanitization is you can eat off the silverware and not get herpes. You
Right.
know, it's like two totally different things.
No, you're
totally
100%
different
correct.
things.
100% correct. And Chris, I'm on call this weekend, so I'm available all weekend.
I'll send you the articles. We may maybe
If you want a partner in the rant, I'm for it.
yeah, just maybe
Hey, Chris.
This may be
All right, well,
a tag
this is
team
the
back
least we've
again
talked
when
about
the-
craft beer on a craft beer show, guys.
Yeah, I know.
But it was a good conversation. It was
great. Yeah.
Most we've talked about craft beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we maybe that's just my opinion, but before we close out, I feel like I do need to say back on that whole can of worms that I opened up. Kevin here had an excellent point, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. I haven't really saw the ad that we're talking about as much as an attack ad as Kevin claims it's a defensive ad, and I think he makes a very good point in that fact. I think my problem wasn't that it attacked craft beer as much as it was the hypocrisy to say that they'd like to defend their brand while at the same time kind of quietly without, to the average consumer not understanding that they're buying up the very craft breweries that they're making fun of.
Right. No, they are definitely talking out of both sides of their mouth on that one.
Of what got mine. But yeah, again, Kevin, excellent point there. That's something I hadn't even considered, was the fact that it was a defensive ad, because craft beer is at this point winning, and really they have to do something to defend themselves.
And that's exactly right. I mean, what was that ad geared toward? It wasn't geared towards craft brewers. It wasn't towards us at all. They're not trying to get us to drink their fucking beer. It's geared towards maybe the people that are swaying and had a couple beers, but they're still drinking, Bud, and it's trying to keep those people in and saying, yeah, you don't want to drink that shit because those are blah 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 people and peach, beers and stuff like that. So yeah,
I'll say this is the best, as played out as it is. And it's good. We've been talking about this super. This is probably the best conversation on it I've had since. So, kudos.
AJ.
A very very short comment on that. There's a reason why 95% of the people that drink Blue Moon don't know it's made by Coors.
They don't put Coors on the labels.
Right.
Blue Moon Brewing Company. That's why.
They market it as a craft beer, and no one knows it's actually brewed by Coors. It's happened since it came out. There was actually a big, it was almost a lawsuit, and maybe it was a lawsuit, that they were marketing themselves as a Belgian white beer because technically it didn't meet the style and all that kind of stuff, and I think there was a lawsuit against it. But any Blue Moon ad you see, any advertisement, any labels, any whatever, makes no reference to them being owned by Coors, and it never will, because they don't want any stigma of BMC on the Blue Moon product.
And here's a kudos to Coors for doing that too, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but there are gateway beers in the craft beer, and
Absolutely.
that was clearly one of them.
That was one of them for me, as well as
yeah.
in Bass Ale. That was one that I used to drink a lot of before.
Oh yeah. No, there was an era where there was basically you had Blue Moon and you had imports because the craft beers weren't getting the distribution here in the Midwest, at least. That was definitely the case for us. And generally speaking, you weren't getting them around the country really, because there was California and that was about it for a long, long time. And so. And actually, it was Anheuser-Busch alone at that point tried to do their versions of that stuff and didn't work. But Coors and Blue Moon stuck around, and there's a reason for that. I mean, you can say it's off style or not, but it brought people in, and it was a good beer for what they were trying to do, be it on style or not. And that's where you get into fuzzy land again. It's sort of like, is it a bad thing that a microbrew brought people into microbrews? Because guess what, microbrewers, you got to extend the hand of friendship to someone who brought someone your way, and they definitely did.
And I wish that more people on this show were privy to the conversation that Dan and Skyler and I had about the three-tier system of the beer industry right now.
Yeah.
And how I summarize how the entire beer industry falls into the antiquated three-tier system that Pennsylvania has for beer.
Pennsylvania.
I would be glad to dedicate a show of explaining my theory on this, but I think I did a very good job of with all these lawsuits and everything coming out from the what I call tier 2 breweries now against smaller breweries. The conversation of 3-tier brewing, like, it all fits together, and it's just going to continue to happen because all the people that were fighting the good fight when there were only 2 tiers of craft brewing, which is BMC and craft beer, it split with the what I'm calling the tier 3, which are the smaller guys that are now scaring the people like Stone and Lagunitas and Sierra Nevada and all Sam Adams and all those people that now I consider tier 2 versus tier 3. That's why all these lawsuits are happening, because the tier 3 people are now supplanting the tier 2 people that were fighting the same fight that the tier 3 people are fighting now. It was a really good conversation. It was probably one of the most intellectual conversations I've had on Google Plus about beer. I would love to share it with the rest of you if you want to actually go down that road, but we can't do it because we're already over time right now. So,
all right.
One last word, and then Mike can close out. Just short.
What's up, Mr. Mustache?
No. That's how you roll as a owner of a brewery. Just saying.
That is awesome.
Nice. All right. So according to the chat, we're gonna add ESB to the wheel. So it has been added. I'm gonna go ahead and give her a spin. I know, right?
I'm just gonna pick right now. It's probably gonna be barrel aged.
It's an import.
Oh.
Import.
Oh,
Import.
well,
Import. Yeah.
Import
All
it
right,
in.
Dan's got a boner, and
Yeah.
the rest says other things.
And not for that. It's for the import.
All right, guys. It was a good conversation. I liked it. I was
awesome.
Everyone had good points. I loved it. So appreciate y'all joining. For anyone who watches this on YouTube later on, because I don't think we have any live viewers this week, but sometimes we do. Join us anytime. We're on Google Plus, so you can just join our circles and you'll get the invite if you're interested in joining part of these intelligent conversations, interrupted by belching and the occasional. Okay, so we added ESB to the list. I don't know. All right. Anyways, so follow us on.
Herd the cats.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll get a notification anytime we add one of these beautiful conversations. Follow us on Twitter and podcastcondition.com, where we will be posting all of these shows as well. So again, thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll be drinking what do we land on again?
Imports.
Ecstasy.
We're all drinking ESB if you want.
Ecstasy.
It's e-beer. It's all beer that you get on the intranet.
Right. We'll be drinking imports.
Barleywine episode was a good choice.
Anything over 10%, guys, is always an interesting show. Cheers.
Yes, it is.